Hello and welcome everyone. A new episode of Money Means Business. Today we are going to discuss together to cover the inauguration of more than 400,000 fadans in Tushk al-Khair. Well, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurated a number of developmental agricultural projects in South Egypt, in the south of the valley, but via video conference from El Manara Center here in Cairo. And he spoke a lot about what's going on, about the current situation, about the efforts exerted to continue with achieving our sustainable development goals. And he was also briefed on all the efforts and all the projects which already accomplished, and tomorrow is going to be a better day, and we are going forward to reach our new republic, Egypt 2030. But before all that, and before introducing my dear guest live here in the studio, I should say congratulations to Cairo Red Devils of Al Ahly after clinching the 12th title of the African Cup of Nations, after defeating our brothers of Tunisia, Esperance, 1-0 with a sole goal by Rami Rabia in the first minutes of the game. Congratulations to Al Ahly, and we said congratulations before to Al Zamalek as they clinched the Confederations Cup. So the cup stand that between the 25th and the 30th of June it's going to be the encounter between Al Ahly and Al Zamalek in the African Super Cup. So congratulations to us, to all Egyptians, because we are on top of the African. Right after the short break, we are going to turn back with my dear guest live here in the studio to speak in more details about our main subject, about Tushk al-Khair, and then we are going to continue with other files, so stay tuned. Welcome back. I extend my congratulations to Al-Ahli for its wonderful victory today, distinguished performance, stunning efforts, which deserve all kind of appreciation. All my congratulations to the fans of Al-Ahli and to all Egyptians. And we wish the sports arena in Egypt more success and achievements. And also, I extend my appreciation to the honorable performance by our brotherly Tunisian team. What I said, this was the congratulation written on the official Facebook page of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi after Al-Ahli's victory. Back to my dear guest live here in the studio, Engineer Ramez ElBarkouki, our IT expert, who is going to speak in more details about the important issues and topics we do have tonight in our episode. Thank you very much for being with us.
My pleasure to be here.
And I'm really happy that we started with the celebrations, because also in the morning we did have another achievements which we were celebrating. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurated a number of developmental agricultural projects in the south of the valley via video conference from El Manara Center, as I said. But we do have a lot of points which we should discuss, and particularly since I do have an IT expert, so I should seize the opportunity. In his speech before the gathering, His Excellency Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Said Al-Qasir, said that among the most important challenges which we faced the state for continuing with the Tushk al-Khair project, it was the lack of data about the type of the soil, lack of data about the climate circumstances, the environmental circumstances, and this needs a lot. So, lack of data is something terrible, which can impede any kind of progress. I'd like to listen.
Thank you very much, and let me extend my celebration too for Ahli and congratulations for everyone. Back for the topic of the data. Normally in the IT environment, in the ICT environment, data is a source of success, that's what we call it. The reason for this is if we don't have the right data in the right time, then the decision will be taken for that specific project will not be in the right decisions. So if we talk about agriculture, for example, there's a lot of data around any project based on agriculture. Like what about the environment around it, humidity, what kind of soils, is it the particular seeds should be done or used in this particular time or no. So all of this data must come to the specific servers or specific processors that can take the right decision for that right applications. So digital transformation project is the one that resolving the issue of data analysis that we can say. So for example, there's a lot of companies working in the organization for the agriculture right now that collect all this data, start processing this data, and then after that take the right decisions for the people who are doing this projects. Then after taking this project and taking the decision for that, there is tracking of the progress of this kind of projects. This tracking is giving us a feedback. Is this project is still working right, or we need some modification or re-engineering for the project? So the normal agriculture work is became now in this digital era of that side. And I think what Egypt is trying to do now is to embed the technology and embed an AI technology, let me say, at any kind of field that need such decisions. One of them is agriculture.
Sure, but I'd like to take it from here because you said a very important, another important side of the coin, which is tracking, following up on the implementation of the project on the ground. I mean, how I can decide that, and who would decide that? Is it the people who collected the data in the first place, or those implementing the project on the ground, or there should be all the time a kind of fruitful coordination and collaboration among all concerned bodies, or what?
Okay, there is three resources for the data.
Okay.
Let me talk about agriculture since we talk about this project.
Sure.
Basically. The first one is from the humans that have an experience and experts of that agriculture side. We have a lot of engineers working in agriculture. We have a lot of experts that can do, let me say, a site survey and site visit, can understand what's going on in this environment and come up with proper reports. These reports will be digitalized and go for a specific command center that can analyze this kind of reports. The second part of the data comes from the digital sensors. We have now a lot of sensors can detect all of information around the soils, like humidity, rains, the kind of salt based on that one. There's a lot of sensors, tons of sensors can be integrated in such area, can give us this remote information back to the command center. Then the third information come from the overall project management that can decide which this information can be used at which time. After collecting this information, must go back for the higher level of decision makers that can analyze again and then say, hey, this area have a high humidity. We need to work around to decrease this humidity because this kind of plants cannot afford this kind of humidity, for example. So that can bring up successful results and give us products that can be valid for the normal consumers or even exporting and importing
the
in the
surplus,
future.
yeah. You know, I'm saying that, sir, because in the speeches today of the top executives who attended the inauguration ceremony, they said that Tushk al-Khair was suspended or it stopped for decades.
Yeah.
Because of what? Because mainly of lack of information or lack of data.
Correct.
And one of the private sector companies which participated in these projects, he said that they succeeded in increasing the production of every fadan of wheat with 5 tons of 5 erdabs more than the other ones. All this because they depended on science.
Correct.
On accurate data. How do you see this as a way to tell all other investors, I mean in all domains, in all fields, that to start with studying well the whole issue, to depend on information technology and to depend on AI is something which is not a luxury anymore, it's a must.
Correct, correct, I absolutely agree. So the point now, let me talk about the investor mentality. The investor comes now to any of the project like agriculture is, he must see and he must analyze, if I'm spending money, how much I'm going to get back out of this money. This kind of calculation must come through the scientific process, which come by the digital transformation and AI. So if we select a part of land, for example, is this land suitable for that kind of project? Yes or no? If yes, why? And if no, why? Then I can come after this answer question and start having all the analysis coming from the agricultural side, coming from the commercial side, come from the scientific side, then I can say, go ahead, I'm investing in this project, and I'm sure that this is going to bring up a return of invest coming out of that side. Lack of data is one of the major problems that's
facing. And if you permit me to add to what you've kindly mentioned, sir, to define and decide my goals.
Correct.
Do I aim at fulfilling the needs of the local market? Do I really aim at invading global markets and to speak mainly about exporting and about increasing our cultural exports? What? I mean, to define our aims, our goals, how much it's important?
Yeah, again, I'm
or
saying...
this is included into the issues?
100% included. I don't need even to look only for the local consumers. I need to look for the global market that I need to do. For example, in agriculture, that's what government is trying to do now. It's trying to look for the exportation, more exportation in the agriculture side. We need to do more projects in agriculture, starting claiming a lot of land that can make more productions, that can cover the local consumers and even extend these products to outside for getting foreign currency at the end of the day. So it's an economic process, starting from the data of the project, back to the return of investment, then it's going to be circulated annually or even quarterly at that same time. Exportation has become one of the key that the government is really keen, not only in the agriculture, by the way, even for the digital products, even for the AI products.
Sure.
That's why he built up a lot of research department in the new capitals and start embedding this kind of knowledge in the faculty even. So if you look at all the faculty of engineering now, there is a specific college basically studying the AI and the digital transformation.
This is it, and this is leading me to mention another point which was mentioned in the speech of Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Said Al-Qasir, when he said that they dedicated a large piece of land for labs, for research, research centers. There, in the south, there in Upper Egypt, to be that close to the area, or maybe in the middle of the project itself, to make sure that every question is going to have an answer,
Correct.
and to have an answer on the spot and on the ground and according to experimental ways which took place already there. How do you see the importance also of taking this into consideration?
100%, because the research department, if that's such, is giving us the right decision in the right time. Then if we have the right decision at the right time, we're going to get the expected results out of this project anyway. So research and development, it's a key in any project, in any organizations. If you look at the most successful companies and organizations all over the world, you will find that research and development is the highest budget of the total report commercial in this company. So that's why the government is actually taking this track nowadays, and I can see a lot of research and development, a lot of places that scientific process is executed to get this kind of results that we are expected in the future.
Dr. Ramez, since you're here, I told you that I do have a lot of questions regarding your specialty, because many people, unfortunately, they are afraid of the word digitalization or AI.
Correct.
And they do fear from the security side of the coin. And on the other side, they do not know how to differentiate between digitalization and automation.
Correct.
And also, they do fear that they are going to lose their jobs, for example, and saying that robots are going to take our place as human beings. Yeah. I'd like you to elaborate on that and to tell us the truth about all these, let's say, rumors or false media reports.
Correct. AI and digitalization, it's became now, like you said, it's not luxury anymore. It's became mandatory at any sector of our life. Like we said, the people are scared to the job will be taken. Remember, there is a lot of job created as well. So if any job is taken, there is a lot of job has been created. The only key for that is to learn and get ready for that kind of new job in this era. So you have to keep learning in AI and digitalization. The difference between digitalization and automation is also key. Digitalization is I'm trying to transform the traditional data, which is, you know, the paperwork and normal paperwork, to make it in the digital servers that can take decision faster and make analysis faster. But the automation is, after taking this information and do analysis, how I can take decisions, how I can automate this kind of machines to take such decisions on time instead of humans, to be more accurate and actually avoid any human mistakes like before. AI, it's a very big word, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Under the AI is a lot of knowledge, and everybody is specialized in a specific knowledge. People are talking about ChatGPT, Gemini, and Google, and all of that stuff. ChatGPT is just like a door; it's like an entrance. I can give you an example for it now. So even if you want to create a content, for example, or to make any scientific research about any topic, you just write in ChatGPT, I need a research on that side. After that, you take this content and put it in another application. Say that, please give me the reference for that. And after taking the reference, I put it, please, I want to make it in a more human side. I don't like it to be electronized. It can give you even the research like a human, you know. So it's really scary.
Adding emotions?
Not really emotions. The way that you are writing the scientific, it looks like a human writing it, not like an electronic language of...
Not Google Translate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a human one.
Yeah.
So after that, you can even trying to stream videos out of these discussions to simulate your scientific research in a video. So it's really, the journey is really scary. But we shouldn't be scared that our job will be taken or our security. We should be scared that we didn't learn enough to use this kind of tools. You don't need to be an engineer.
We didn't learn enough.
Yeah.
But at least we do have the least knowledge, and we are trying to work on ourselves.
Correct.
On ourselves, if I can call it this way.
Correct.
But sir, there is also another thing which is really scary. You know, when it comes to science, to development in this field in specific, it's really modernized or changing every second, not every day.
That's the challenge.
How we can meet this challenge, or this is a challenge which is facing the whole world, whether it's developed or developing countries.
Well, for us in our engineering domain, specialization is very important.
Yeah.
You need to be specialized in such science and go on that track. Knowing everything about one thing is better than knowing everything about everything.
Okay.
You know, so it's very important to just indicate what you need, out of this knowledge and grow your knowledge about it and specialize in that kind of domain, because to study AI all the time, you are not going to get that fast development that's happening every day. I remember in our even working engineering, each 5 years we have something new. That's like 2 years ago, I mean 20 years ago. But now I can tell you for free that every single week we have something different, we have something new we need to study. So it's very important to know your target and to understand what you need out of this technology.
But it's a cumulative, sir. It's not that we start from scratch. It should
100%.
we build on where others end. I mean,
Correct.
we start from where others end. I mean, we are not, as we say it, we are not inventing the bicycle.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is a good thing in AI.
It's not the wheel, I mean.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the good things in AI. You don't need to learn all the history of how this technology became in now. You just need to start study it from now. Then you continue your journey learning this kind of stuff. So again, it's very important to not just learning, to imply or apply what you learn for what you do, whatever your job is.
Sir, also one of the important points which were raised today in the event of Tushk al-Khair, thinking out of the box, innovation.
Innovation.
It's not only about funding. Of course, money is very important, finance is very important, funds are very important, but to think the idea itself, to think out of the box and to put into consideration that our innovative ideas of our youth should be taken as a first priority. How do you see this as also another way of empowering youth and of giving them the courage, the boost, the support to start, and even if it is a new field like what you mentioned already?
100%. Let me give you an example that can actually explain what you talked about right now, about the mobile application, for example. There's a lot of mobile application making a lot of service. The guys who develop this kind of mobile application, it doesn't have any idea what this service is. This can be medical service, this can be trading service, this can be agriculture service. So the guys have think about a creative idea and develop the technology to provide the service based on the expert. So thinking out of boxes became key nowadays. Even the company themselves, they're struggling, having a lot of research in their own research development. How can we make something new? We need to sell our product, we need to sell our service, we need to make something that's more creative and easier for our customers. So thinking out of the box is really became key of the thinking in nowadays. Yeah.
I'll give you an example of thinking out of the box, which was also mentioned today, because the CEO of one of the private sector companies which participated in the Tushk al-Khair project, he spoke about having this mix in our loaf of bread, to have 80% wheat and 20% corn. And it's not going to change its taste that much, but it's about changing the culture of Egyptians and to absorb that as something normal, which can be that easy going through, and it's not something which is going to prevent us from eating bread, for example. But it's going to save billions, not millions, billions of Egyptian pounds, millions of dollars, and saving hard currency, of course, which we do need for other things. How do you see this, and if changing our culture in specific things, is it that difficult, or it's a dream, or it's a process which can be implemented on the ground?
100%. Changing the consumer mentality must come in the phases. You know, that's my point of view. We cannot tomorrow tell the all Egyptians, please, you need to stop this one, or you need to do this one. It must come in phases, and also you need to give an alternative solutions to make sure that this alternative can at least afford what they are looking for. And I think that's what even the government starting doing, changing the kind of mentality of the consumers. You need to think what you are buying, is it added value for you or no? This kind of mentality, I believe that Egyptians come to that level right now. They are thinking before buying anything, you know, especially for feeding or the normal consumers, electronics, whatever. They have got the intelligence now to decide what they are looking for, what we are looking for is not only in Egypt, by the way. All the societies all over the world that looking how to change our behavior in terms of buying things or consuming things. So this kind of things, I believe, must be done in phases. And along with that, we need to have an alternative solutions that affordable and is not going to stress our, foreign currency challenge that normally we are facing from time to time.
Do you think, sir, that the whole world, as you've kindly mentioned, all people learned what to buy and not what to buy and how to rationalize their expenses and to make sure that they guarantee that tomorrow they are going to have their food because of the crises the whole world suffered, starting from the lockdown of the COVID-19, the supply chain crisis, after that the Ukrainian-Russian issue, now unfortunately the Israeli genocide war in Gaza. Do you think that those crises, which really took place in a successive manner, had their negative and positive impact in the same time on the world?
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's why the companies even are changing the mentality now. If you look at the old companies, the super companies doing a lot of products, have changing the mentality of productions, have changing even the mentality of selling products. A lot of companies has shut down most of the branches, physical branches, and instead of that, let's go online. Let's make this online. Why I need to pay much in the physical, places, rather than I can make an application and make this kind of application come online. So the mentality has changed. There is pros and cons. There's a lot of bad and good things, but at the end of the day, we need to adapt ourselves in the way forward in the future. So this kind of mentality must come from the person himself, from the society. Like, for example, people are going now for electric car instead of the normal gas car. Why? Because this is going to be more effective for you. It's going to even save more money for you. And this kind of decisions can even impact your style of life. And even in the future, will not make you face any issues like we are normally facing for the normal consumer side.
According to changing the culture of the consumer, or changing the culture of the layman industry, because today, for example, we listen to brand new ideas and things which I don't think that any Egyptian would even imagine that they are taking place in Egypt 10 years ago, for example, because we spoke about planting jojoba and to use jojoba's biofuel, because this is the future, or at least one of the solutions, and to plant thousands of fiddens with aromatic and medical plants.
Yes.
And how this can be another leap, another step forward in our agricultural field in general, if you want to elaborate on that too.
Correct. I think the government was very smart on that side. The reason for this is they are looking for the raw materials. The problem in the economy in Egypt is to buying the raw materials by the foreign currency and then processing it locally. Still you're paying foreign currency to the abroad. But now we are trying to have the raw materials for this kind of industry, like you said, for the medical, for example. If you have this on ground and you product it by yourself, you don't need even to have and to pay this kind of amount outside. You just need a proper factory can do for you these productions and cover your consumers locally, and even you can extend and export this medicine outside, which is really brilliant idea, and we need to keep going in that side. Not only for the medical, by the way, for even manufacturing.
Yeah,
for the batteries, for, in the batteries, they have some raw materials comes from the planet as well. From plastic, there's many raw materials. We can grow it locally and start processing it to the manufacturing, and then we can cover our consumers locally. So I really encourage that kind of idea, and this is one of the out-of-box thinking.
Yes, amen to that. I'm saying that, sir, because in all occasions, by the way, whether inside Egypt in field visits by the president himself or Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, or our ministers, our top executives even, or even when the president is outside in any trip, of course on the sidelines of any summit talks outside Egypt, the president is keen to meet with the business chamber of this country, or the businessmen of this country, and to speak about the potentials and the chances we do have and the incentives we give to foreign investors. They do have a lot to do here in Egypt, and a lot of potentials, a lot of chances. Localizing industry is a key word. How do you see this as something which can play a key role in our economic development?
Like I said, the raw materials and localize the raw materials locally can allow us to start manufacturing our local 100% product. I'm talking about 100% product made in Egypt. That's what we are looking for. I know that we have some products already 100%, but I'm talking about a very strategic products that we are looking to extend it outside. But let me give you suggestions. I believe it's very important to take it under considerations. Africa, it's a very big continent and it's a big market.
And we are the gate.
Exactly. We are the gate for that. Why not make it an expo for our Egyptian products and go knocking the doors for this kind of countries and say, hey, we have got these products, we can sell it for you in a very affordable price. We can have such agreement with you. I have seen that kind of work and it works. So I really suggest this kind of idea to knock in the doors in the Africa market, start making an expo, getting a representative from each Egyptian company and bring them in a very big event in any of these countries, for example, like Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, any of the African countries that we believe that the economy can support. And then
you watched Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli
yeah.
in his field visit last week, or just 3 or 4 days in Bani Suef, and he had important meetings with local investors and foreign investors coming from South Korea, and he said exactly that we can be the gate to Africa, whether to sell our 100% made in Egypt products or those of South Korea, for it's only an example, which had headquarter here, their factories here. And he also spoke about a very important issue, studying, giving more incentives to the factories which are going to use more local components to reach 75%, for example, in limited time.
Correct.
How do you see this, and to have these incentives as a motive, whether for the Egyptian or the non-Egyptian investors, to depend on our local component?
That's very key. I think that's really very smart economy equation that he's trying to build to push the economy of Egypt, because if it's 75% coming for the final product, it means that we are exporting 75% of our product outside, which is really very important. Also, we are trying to import the know-how of that technology. Later on, we can do it ourselves 100%. So that's very important.
And modify.
And modify, definitely.
And add.
We are creative. To be honest with you, I've seen a lot of Egyptians outside the country very creative, and they are supporting the economy very well. And that's why we are building our even youth people coming out from the students in the faculty to start embed themselves in this economy and start even export their own knowledge outside. Localize the raw material is a key. I really support that, and even I can see that is a way forward that the government is doing actually that side.
If you permit me, I'd like to return back for something which took place also today, and it was mentioned in more than one speech in front of the gathering, whether by General Ahmed Al-Azazi, the head of the Armed Forces Engineering Authority, or engineer, I think his name Ahmed Gamal, I hope I'm pronouncing, I remember his name well, the CEO of one of the companies which participated in turning Tushka into this paradise we were all watching today. They spoke about agro-industry or agricultural industry, and they spoke about smart agriculture and how these words can combine together to have an integrated panoramic view of the tomorrow of Upper Egypt in specific, and to take into consideration that we should confess that Upper Egypt was marginalized for years. Now the case is totally different, and we can say that clear that Upper Egypt can be one of the most important and attractive areas to attract industrial zones and investors from all over the world. Sir.
I agree. Like I said, the agriculture is not became like a traditional agriculture like before. It's become like an industry. There is a lot of research and knowledge that's happening in the last 5 years of how to increase your productions from the small part of the land. You don't need to extend your planting for the very huge land, but you can take a small land and start make vertical, for example, agriculture sites. You can use even some new technology that can growing this one faster. Is a very safe and organic, by the way. It can make it very faster and even extend this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of research is happening in that side, and Egypt is trying to encourage that kind of knowledge to come in. We need to go next for the new era of this technology in agriculture. The reason for this is we can even produce new planet that we never make it before, because we can make the environment suitable for it. You don't need to have a land with some specification or a temperature with a specification to do it. You can make it by machines and this kind of covering the areas and can start producing this kind of products. So agriculture became an industry. When we say industry, it means knowledge, science, and scientific process need to be done. And that's why engaging the private sector in this side was very key and important. That's why the government to bring the key guys are working in this industry and pushing forward. Guys, come and work with us. Let's do something for the economy. That's what I've seen today, honestly.
The president said to Engineer Gamal that we hope that this story of success which took place in Toshka is going to be repeated in Sinai. He said that next time, inshallah, it's going to be the inauguration of another agricultural mega project in Sinai, this very dear park.
That's the
Sir,
target.
one final question, and it's far from the core of our episode.
Sure.
If you do have a boy or a girl, and he or she is asking you which faculty I should join, engineering or agriculture or AI?
Well, that's a tricky question, by the way. But for me,
Yeah.
I have to say engineering. Then after engineering, specialized in the science, manage the agriculture. I don't say that the agriculture is important. It's very important, by the way.
Sure.
But if your mind coming to the technology side, go engineering, start to study engineering, then go to the AI, covering the agriculture side.
Yeah.
You will do more in the future. That's definitely.
Would you please take this piece of advice from an expert? And inshallah, tomorrow is going to be another day, and our future is going to be much brighter with the hands of the coming generations, with our youth. Sir, I enjoyed our discussion.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
We were very much delighted to and honored, of course, to have with us the engineer Ramez ElBarkouki, our IT expert, and I really enjoyed
so
our
much. I
discussion,
really
sir.
appreciate it.
Tomorrow is another day with another success, another story of success on the ground, inshallah. Now I'm going to leave you with the most important economic events which took place in the past 7 days. Many thanks for watching. Once again, congratulations to Al Ahli. With all my love, this was Nurmeen Abdurrahman.